Hello, and welcome to the GBTA Broadcast Studio. I'm Dorothy Dowling. I'm on the GBTA Board of Directors, and I'm president of the Allied Leadership Council. Today, I'm really delighted to be broadcasting from the GBTA Conference in Toronto and to welcome Tony Serko from Serko, who's going to share his brilliance with us today in terms of how the business is recovering. So thank you all for tuning in. So Tony, what can you tell the GBTA community in terms of the evolving needs of travel managers post-pandemic?
Well, we did a research study together, GBTA and Serko, and it was kind of an OBT view, but we broadened it out to say what should we be thinking about coming back to travel, and a couple of things came out of that. A, travel policies are a little stricter. What corporate travel managers said was that they thought they wanted their people to be booking on program more than they had done previous to COVID. Second thing is they were looking for information that would give their travelers some comfort to get back on the road, some comfort and some confidence to get back on the road. And then the third thing was that they're not satisfied with their current online booking tools, which is good news for us because we're in the business. But those were the general trends. There's nothing that was too surprising about how best to get people back comfortable traveling again.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. So the technology side of the business is really an important piece of our evolution. And I'm wondering if you can share with us in terms of better, safer, cheaper, smarter travel programs.
Yeah, so that's
some of your thoughts.
That's our mantra, at Serko with our Zeno product, getting back to travelers smarter, leaner, more efficient. We did not take the time off during the pandemic when the travel was not down. We added a lot of content to our product. We did a Sherpa integration so that right at the point of purchase you can see what, if anything, you will need to come to a particular city. Would you need to get vaccinated prior, or do you need to just download your information? I booked on Zeno. I realized, because I didn't remember, that I'm going back home and I do need to take a test. So information like that is critical because you want to make sure that your technology is giving you the best information possible. So yes, I think technology can help significantly with getting people comfortable with getting back to travel by providing them the information right at the point of booking, and then throughout their trip, make sure they're guiding them through.
Yeah. And Tony, we were talking a little earlier, but in terms of Canada, where do you see it positioned in terms of the global recovery? Is Canada ahead of the U.S., behind the U.S.?
I like to say we're neck and neck. I mean, that's kind of the way I put it. I would hope that both countries would get a little bit more aggressive, particularly with opening up some of the channels, removing some of the restrictions. I was encouraged by the fact that the U.S. dropped the mask restriction. You can tell that people, they don't want to be encumbered by that anymore. You want to wear a mask, great, but if you don't, then you should be allowed to kind of proceed. So hopefully we'll get beyond the vaccination part and the documentation and having to take the test to come back and forth between the two countries. We're such great partners. It's a tremendous, they're great markets for both our countries. So I think it would be in both our best interest to get a little bit more aggressive so that business travel can come back. I think you can see on the leisure side, this, that the demand was so pent up that people are dying to get back on planes. I'm encouraged by the number of people that are at this event because I think it kind of portends what we're expecting, and that's that more people want to get back on the road and engage and talk face to face. So hopefully both countries will start to get a little bit more aggressive.
And I totally concur with you, Tony. I fundamentally believe the U.S. has to lift that antigen restriction because Canada has lifted that now. So it's easier to come here than to return back to the U.S. And I did say to Tony, the STR numbers from March for the hotel community for the very first time, March was ahead of 2019 numbers. So Canada is on a strong comeback, and hopefully we'll catch up to the U.S. in terms of its return.
Which is great to hear.
Yeah. But Tony, thank you so much for joining us here today. I've always thought of you as being such an individual that leads us in terms of your research knowledge and wisdom. So it's delightful to have you as part of the GBTA Broadcast Studio.
Thank you, Dorothy. It's great to be here, and it's always great to work with GBTA.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tony. Okay, and with that, thank you, Tony, for joining us at the GBTA Broadcast Studio, and thank you all for tuning in.